Hi guys, Sean here. I'm doing my second movie review. Last week I did The Hobbit. This week I'm gonna do something different. I'm doing my favorite comic book trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. Um, I was gonna do Batman: The Dark Knight Returns parts 1 and 2, but I just figured I could say more about these than I could the other ones. So I'm doing the trilogy first, and then I'll probably do Dark Knight Returns next week. I don't know. I'm gonna start off with the one that started it all. Well, started this new trilogy, I guess you could say. Um, Batman Begins. It was released in 2005 under the direction of Christopher Nolan. Um, when this movie was coming out, I did not even know about it. It was at a time when I had just come off seeing Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And then I saw Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope in school when I was still in middle school, so I was really looking forward to seeing Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, kind of fill in that gap that I missed. But, so I didn't know about this film until after its release, like after it was on DVD. And then I rented it at the local library, the Genesee Library, rented it there, watched it. Hang on. Sorry about that. My sister's trying to get hold of me. Where was I? Yes. I checked this out of my library. I actually thought it was going to be a prequel to the other 4 movies. But then when I saw it, I was like, nah, this ain't a prequel, it's a reboot. It stars, Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne / Batman. And this basically gives a further, explanation of who he is and how he became Batman, which I thought was a nice touch. Something that the other 4 movies never touched on. I don't even think they even explained what happened. The only thing it really explained was his parents dying, really. But this one gives more of his training, how he got his suit, and how he got his gadgets. Like I said, the other 4 didn't do that. They only did how his parents died, and that's not really much of an origin story. I mean, yeah, it's the key part, but that's not really much. So basically, Bruce is in a Chinese prison. Basically, he's going all over the world to find how to face his fear and fight crime and all that stuff. Basically, learn how to get into the mind of a criminal. And then he meets up with Henry Ducard, who is played by Liam Neeson, who basically offers him a path to supposedly become a ninja. Says that a man can be killed and destroyed, but if you're a symbol, if you're something bigger than that, you can live on. Basically, that anybody can be a hero. Basically, is what it's saying. The cast, I thought, did a great job. See, the cast, they have Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne / Batman, Michael Keaton as taking on Michael Goff's old role as Alfred, Liam Neeson as Henry Ducard. Let's see, Katie Holmes is in the role of Rachel Dawes, Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon, but at this time he's more like the Sergeant Gordon, I think. I don't know, I haven't seen this film in a while. I haven't actually seen this since like probably last month. Either last month or in February. It's been a while. Tom Wilkinson as Carmine Falcone, the crime lord. Rutger Hauer as the current owner of Wayne Enterprises. Because when Bruce's parents are gunned down, Bruce is too young to take over the company. So somebody else had to take over for him until he got older. So that's who's taking over. I think his name is William Earl. Because Morgan Freeman's character, Lucius Fox, basically, I think calls him Bill or something. I don't know. I have to watch the movie with the subtitles. I don't know. But I know his name is Mr. Earl. I know that part. Ken Watanabe is Ra's al Ghul. Um, and like I said, Morgan Freeman is Lucius Fox. This movie I thought was really nice. It was a good movie, a good entry into the series. Like I said, I did not see this one in theaters because I didn't know it had existed. I thought the franchise had been long dead since Batman and Robin. So I did not know they were rebooting the franchise. So, like I said, I did not see this one. I didn't know they were rebooting it. I thought this was a good movie. It's basically the story of if you've read or seen, if you've read the Batman Year One comics or saw the 2011 animated movie, you pretty much know the storyline of this movie. That Bruce has gone away, learned how to become a crime fighter, how to become a ninja, I guess. He goes to Lucius Fox, gets all his gadgets, even the best Batmobile I've seen, the Tumbler. If I had one of those, I'd be driving that damn thing. Literally. Gary Oldman, basically, his Gordon, basically, in a way, takes on the role of Robin. In a way, because in this, Batman and Gordon have become like an alliance, like a friendship, really. They help each other out. They help each other out to the best of their abilities. Because Gordon is the only true good cop left in Gotham. Falcone has basically, as Rachel said, Falcone floods the streets with crimes and drugs, preying on the weak, or creating new JoJos every day. Basically, he was destroying everything that Bruce's family stood for. So that's why Gordon was the only lonely good cop left. Which I can kind of see that because that's the way it was in the Batman Year One thing, which I thought was cool. And then the end of this, there's a big twist at the end, which is Henry Ducard is the real Ra's al Ghul. And I don't think I mentioned this, but Cillian Murphy plays Dr. Jonathan Crane, Scarecrow, who basically is in charge of Arkham Asylum. So Arkham Asylum is in this movie, but it's not in there that much. So I don't even think it was in that much in the other films. But yeah, and Scarecrow is like everyone said, Scarecrow is not used that much in this film. He doesn't even look like he does in the comic books or in the video games. He's basically just a mask. It's basically just a mask and a regular suit. That's all it is, really. Scarecrow is just not even Scarecrow in this film, to tell you the truth. But this movie ends in a way where it basically set up the Dark Knight, basically. With the Joker card, with Gordon giving Batman the Joker card at the end of it, which I thought was a nice touch. Set up the next movie. Even though this was only meant to be just the one movie, and that Joker card was meant to be just a tease, I'm still glad they made the sequel. Even though Christopher Nolan originally was not intending to make one. Because he said in an interview that when they made this movie, he didn't want to even think or talk about doing a sequel, because they were putting all their chips into Batman Begins, making it the best movie ever made. They did not want to do a sequel at the time. It was only until after the movie became successful and people started talking about it is when he decided to go ahead and do the sequel. It was because with the Joker card revealed at the end, he wanted to see who the Joker was going to be, who that character was, what his objective was. It was because he wanted to see who that Joker would be. And if you guys can't tell in the hat, the Joker. Now, speaking of the Joker, leads me to my next movie, The Dark Knight. In case you know, in this, Rachel was Bruce's childhood friend and a district attorney. Or assistant district attorney, I guess. She was one of the two. She was basically a lawyer, I know that much. In this movie, it picks up at least a year after Batman Begins. It opens with a bank heist scene, like a 6-minute bank heist scene, where this guy has all his men, where the Joker has all his men kill each other off, so that way he has the money at the end. But it's kind of a good scene. Here, I'll make sure you guys can see the case better. And then after that, we are introduced to Harvey Dent, played by Aaron Eckhart, and the Joker in this movie is played by Heath Ledger, who I thought did a better job than Jack Nicholson. Better job than Mark Hamill. Basically, I think Ledger was the best Joker ever done, aside from Mark Hamill. Hamill and Ledger are my two favorite Jokers. Put it that way. So when they do Arkham Origins, I really won't have that much. I don't know the word I'm thinking of, but I don't have that much expectations for the next guy, to the Joker. Because if it's not Ledger or Hamill, we know it's not going to be Ledger because Ledger croaked. But if it's not going to be Hamill, then I don't have that much to expect. I don't have that much expectation. But anyway, back to this movie. Like I said, the sequel to Batman Begins takes place a year after. Like I said, we meet with Harvey Dent, who's basically what they call the White Knight of Gotham. Basically, he wants to just clean up the streets, make it a nice place, you know. And at this point, he's actually even dating Rachel Dawes, who it had to be recasted because Katie Holmes from this one respectfully did not want to do the movie. She wanted to go off and do a movie called Mad Money with Diane Keaton and Queen Latifah. So for this movie, they had to recast Rachel, and they got, what was her name? Maggie Gyllenhaal to come in and play the role. And I don't know who's better. I think it's an even tie, really. Some people say Katie's better. Some people say Maggie's better. I don't want to argue with people, so I just say it's an even tie. Because I don't want to argue with people, really. I'm not one to argue. So yeah, basically in this movie, pretty much everyone comes back from Batman Begins with the exception of Katie Holmes. Like I said, Katie Holmes went to do another movie, and she was replaced by Maggie Gyllenhaal. The villain in this one is the Joker, played brilliantly by Heath Ledger. Loved his performance. In this one, Gordon is now the lieutenant. He becomes commissioner after Commissioner Loeb kicks the bucket. He dies. Basically, didn't see the movie. Then I just spoiled it for you. I'm sorry. Salvatore Maroni, who if you've seen Batman Forever, you kind of know who he is. In Batman Forever, he's the guy that made Two-Face. In this one, Joker made Two-Face. Because at the end, towards the end, when Rachel dies, so sad. Wish she would have been in the third one, which was only mentioned and in a photograph. But anyway, that's a little later. I'll get to the Dark Knight Rises later. That's when Harvey Dent becomes Harvey Two-Face. But up until that point, alright, Bruce is basically getting ready to retire. He's out of it. He doesn't want to do this anymore, because at the end of Batman Begins, I'm going to put this down for a minute. At the end of Batman Begins, Rachel said, and I quote, that someday when Gotham no longer needs Batman, we'll see him again. Basically what she was trying to say is that once Bruce ends up not wanting to be, when Bruce doesn't need to be Batman anymore, she and Bruce can be together. But she was not wanting to wait. She didn't want to wait for that. She didn't want to wait for Bruce to give up being Batman. So she started dating Harvey Dent. And this time, I think Aaron Eckhart did a great job in the role. He did better than Tommy Lee Jones. I'm sorry, Tommy, but you're better than Men in Black. So like I said, all the cast comes back. Christian Bale reprises his role as Bruce Wayne Batman. Michael Caine as Alfred. Gary Oldman as this time Lieutenant Gordon, not Sergeant Gordon. and then Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox. Lucius Fox basically is the CEO of Wayne Enterprises this time around. He was just the guy who worked in, what was it? Artificial sciences or something. I forgot what it was called. Basically, it was R&D though. Applied sciences. That's what it was. I had to remember. It was applied sciences. But in this one, he's basically the CEO. He and Bruce co-run the company, and then basically is what it is. But like I said, this was the best of the three that I've seen. Like the best of the trilogy, best of the whole Batman franchise that there is. Basically in this one, the Joker is a killer. Basically, he's a narcissist. He says he's an agent of chaos. He's an anarchist. He threatens to kill people unless Bruce reveals himself. Unless Bruce removes his mask. Basically, the longer Bruce goes without revealing his true identity, the more people the Joker will kill. That's basically what it is. He wants to show a mirror up to Gotham, saying that just about anybody can be corruptible. That's basically what it is. And this movie basically ends with Harvey dying and Bruce taking the blame for Harvey's crimes. Just so that way, Gotham can have a sense of hope that their city can be reclaimed. That they can reclaim their city. So, Gordon and Batman lie to Gotham and say that Batman is the true villain. So, yeah. And in this one, before Harvey Dent becomes Two-Face, Bruce was hoping to look to Harvey as his successor, saying Harvey locked up half of the city's criminals, and he did it without wearing a mask. Gotham needs a hero with a face. Which I thought was a nice touch, that they were going to have Harvey be his successor, and then Kaplak, Harvey becomes Two-Face. Now, originally, when The Dark Knight came out, they were not anticipating a third movie at all. They were not anticipating a third movie. Because they didn't even want to come back for the second movie. No one didn't even want to come back for the second movie. Sorry, everyone knows right now. But 4 years later, they decided to do one. 3 or 4 years later, they decided to make another. And Christopher Nolan said he would only make the film as a way. He would only do the movie if he could put Bruce's story to rest. And so we got The Dark Knight Rises. Now before I go with Dark Knight Rises, I have to mention this one I saw in theaters. This was the first Batman movie I had ever seen in theaters. I did not see Batman Begins in theaters. I did not see the other 4 movies in theaters. And the reason for that was because when the '89 Batman movie came out, I was not born. When Batman Returns came out, I was only a year old. Batman Forever came out, I was only 4. I was only 4 years old. And then when Batman and Robin came out, I was only 6. I didn't start going to the movies until at least 1999, when I went to see Toy Story 2 in theaters. Toy Story 2, I think, my first theater movie. Now, anyway, and then like I said with Batman Begins, I didn't know what was coming out because I didn't know Batman Begins was coming out, and then I saw 3 instead. So now, and then I saw Dark Knight in theaters to make up for it. So now with Dark Knight Rises, I definitely saw this one in theaters. But when I first heard this was being made, I did not expect a lot out of it, because they say that no sequel. Because if you have a film that is so popular, so beloved, and so financially successful, and that's basically what The Dark Knight was. This one here.